Well, welcome, everyone. Here we are. I'm going.
It's magic.
Yes, yes. Welcome to another round. Where am I looking at? Over here, right? Okay.
You're looking over
I
there.
don't even know where I'm looking at. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming back for another round of the Boom Boom Room. I'm your host, Ray Mancini, and I'm here with my corner guy, Viking Jim, and my cut man over there, Jabbin' Joe Danier.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Jabbin'
Good one,
Joe.
Ray.
He's got
Good
a
one.
fight name. So today's is our second show. I appreciate those who keep listening on the first one, and I hope you're back for this one. And hopefully this will be a little better. We had a few technical difficulties the first time. I realized I couldn't get away from this microphone. It was in my way all the time.
Yeah.
But I should know that, right?
The visuals weren't that hot because
Right.
it looked like two guys with like microphones in front of their faces. But we're test flying, man. This is a test. You know, we're learning as we go, and it's a beautiful thing.
And so today, we got a good show today. I'm excited about today's show.
What are we doing?
We're talking about a few things, Vike. We're going to do a little recap of my Tuesday's show, but we have a special guest, our dear friend, Youngstown's favorite son, Ed O'Neill, from
Second
Modern
favorite,
Family.
Ray. Second favorite.
He's his favorite son right now.
No, it's all you, babe.
But and then we're going to talk about, with Eddie, talk about everything and anything about Youngstown, old stories. Eddie is by far the best storyteller I know, by far.
Oh, yeah.
And he remembers things. He's got a photographic memory, which is kind of amazing because he remembers things from 30, 40 years ago like
Right.
they were yesterday. And he'll
Yeah.
tell you dates and tell you places. So don't want to bet against him like that. And so, then we're going to do a top 5 list at the end, and we're going to have Eddie help us out with that.
And this is going to be a good top 5 list. And what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
interested in, because I don't want to give it away yet, but I'm very interested to get into this because it's something I don't know a lot about, to be frank.
So very good. And Eddie's very good with that one. So, first of all, we talked about on Tuesday. The one thing I want to talk about was the death of Ali. Again, I'm not going to go into it too deep, but I don't think how people know how significant that is for boxing in general, but cultural. The country as a cultural experience. Ali, like I said, was on the top. Again, I'm not gonna beat this up, but if it was a Mount Rushmore of cultural icons, he'd be one of them.
That is definitely arguable, yeah.
And so that was a big blow to the country, to the world. He was truly beloved, most recognizable face worldwide for many, many years straight. He was voted the most recognizable face.
And I'll tell you what, real quick, the Atlanta Olympics, when he lit the flame, tears in the eyes,
right.
baby,
That's
tears
right.
in the eyes.
That's right. That's for sure. We'll also talk a little bit about the fight that isn't happening, the Triple G Canelo fight. We talked about that. We're going to talk about these things with Eddie.
Mexican meat.
And he blames it on the Mexican, the food, which is a real thing.
Sure.
Mexican meat, but you would think that his trainer and his manager, who are butchers by trade, would know the difference between contaminated meat and good meat.
Apparently
so
not.
So we're going to talk about that. I was funny because I had a friend of mine text me today. Or email me. No, text, same thing.
Yeah.
It texted me today. Said, "Hey, I listened to your show. Thought it was a good show, but can you like broaden the show a little bit?
Not just boxing."
I said, "Well, what would you like?" Because before when I did the show on radio, it was a boxing
Right.
show / comedy / it became / comedy /
Right.
entertainment show. But
Yeah.
now they're saying. I got asked, well, can you broaden the show a little bit? Can you talk about, these are the subject matters I was told to speak about. Can you speak about parenting, fashion, divorce?
You do dress well.
And I go,
You have been divorced.
and they said, well, don't have to make it, you don't have to make it personal, like your experience, but how else you going to do it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who
So,
are you talking about?
my parenting style is a little different. My kids will be able to attest to that. I'm not proud of it. I was a screamer, yeller. I come from a loud family and the yelling, screaming house. But I wasn't one of these guys who said, that's okay. Let's put you in the corner a little bit. I'll whip your ass. You get online. You go to church after you get online. I'm whipping your ass. Which is why my kids to this day hate going to church. So I get it.
Right.
It was not a good
Right.
experience for them.
Right.
But I don't. So fashion, my son, I have a son that's a fashion major.
That's true.
At
That's true.
Colorado State. So I like to think I had a little bit of fashion
You were
fashion sense.
You are always well dressed,
I
Ray.
like to
You
think I appreciate
are
it.
you are
I
a good
appreciate it.
dress.
I like to think I have a little flavor.
We're polar opposites, man.
Yeah,
You dress well. I look like a homeless guy.
My man. Divorce, it's a fact of life, and unfortunately,
Happens to a lot of us.
But I went for the daily double.
Okay.
Be no trifecta in this. Will be no trifecta. I went for the daily double, and I have a wonderful woman. I had a wonderful woman the first time. I have a wonderful woman this time,
And
she's a great lady, and I love her to death. And she's, certain people come into time in your life at the right time.
Yeah.
My wife, she came in my life. I was broken. I was pretty broken at that time, internally. And
Brother, I feel you.
And she came into my life, and she kind of made things whole again.
Yeah.
And she, and
Testify.
and you go, man, and she, just made things right. And you go, wait, this is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with. So I was fortunate.
That's a beautiful thing, but it's also a beautiful thing that you're still on good terms with your ex.
Oh yeah, no. We have.
'Cause
three
I
kids
am as
and
well.
Yeah, no, we have. We're good friends, and we have three babies together.
Mm-hmm.
And you got your partners in those kids' lives, not in each other's life, but
Right,
in those kids' lives.
right.
So anyhow, so that's kind of my friend asked me, so I said, well, I'll touch on it, but maybe next time we could talk about more fashion, and I'll talk about more parenting, my parenting skills, which obviously ain't the best. Hey, I thought I did. Hey, look, we all do the best you can. Our parents,
Nobody's perfect.
My parents were wonderful parents. I hope my kids are my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in retrospect, I hope they think I'm a good parent. I was a good parent. I am a good parent. And I always tell them I did a lot of things wrong, but hopefully I did more right than wrong. So
Yeah, I think you did. You did
that's
all right. It's funny speaking of parenting because growing up, I was fortunate enough that I had two older brothers. I'm the baby, so I got baby.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm.
Right.
But
As a baby also.
I was fortunate enough to have the middle brother, my older brother Jared. He was the kind of kid that would weigh out in his mind, how much fun am I going to have doing this particular activity as opposed to the ass whipping I know
That's
I'm
right.
going to get
That's right.
for the activity.
That's right.
And the activity almost always won out.
Yeah, of course. Well,
he didn't care.
That's right. Is it worth the price? Is it worth the price?
Yeah.
Which reminds me. Now I went to mass this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I try to go. For Lenten season, I try to go to that mass and
Extra
time.
mass,
It was
yeah.
the best thing for me. For me, I need it. So I went to mass this morning, and the deacon who was giving the mass today said, "Hey, Ray, what's this with this new show you're doing?"
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Oh yeah." I told him. He goes, "Yeah, I've been here." He goes, "Oh, when's it on?" And I told him, I said, "I'm gonna listen in." I said, that'll be good. So I'm letting people know ahead of time now. This is an Deacon, please. R-rated show may not. I don't mean. Look, I'm going to be very careful.
Unintentionally.
Yeah. And I said, I heard myself the other day say, I'm occasionally if I drop an F-bomb, please. But you know what? That's not.
It happens.
It happens, but I'm not. I'm going to be. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to be. I got people listening and looking in, and I want them to know that it's not quite a family show. We're the off family show. But anyway, so
If
look,
you can handle a little, relax,
hey,
kids.
Hey, Joe, you're gonna get. Let's get Eddie on the line. Let's get our guest Ed O'Neill on the line.
And while he's getting Eddie on the line, it's funny, and like we talked about this on Monday's show about the swearing parents and whatnot, and how beautiful your mom swearing in Italian sounds better than swearing in English. God love her, but it's funny that my mom was never swore. Maybe rarely, occasionally when she was really pissed. But you know what happened when we taught my mom how to play Super Mario Brothers 3? She started swearing like a drunken sailor, man. Everything was F this and MF that, and you son of a bitch, and how dare you. And we would have fun just watching my mom play Super Mario for hours. We'd sit there and pick on her for it.
Hey, Joe, what are we doing? You trying to get Eddie on the line?
Where the hell did he go? I think he bailed on us, Ray. I think he bailed on us.
Until then, again, talking about, again, for those who are fight fans, Triple G Canelo fight was canceled for May 5th. So it's coming up. Triple G will still be fighting May 5th. Will not be pay-per-view. It'll be HBO regular. He's fighting Vanas. He's
Is he ranked?
No, Vanas, yeah, tough guy. Fought a lot of tough guys, but he's just the one of the guys who was Olympian in 2004. And Von, is Eddie on the phone?
Not yet.
Okay, Vanas Mardzhojian he's Armenian. He's Armenian from LA. Tough guy. Met him, sweetheart, real good guy, but a real tough guy. He'll fight you. So come on and put on a good show. But he's not going to beat Triple G. But look, Triple G, it's a letdown, man. You expect to fight the defending title, big money fight. The guy that you beat, you should have got the decision. Everyone thought you won, and now they're having a rematch.
You get filet. You're expecting filet, and you get a T-bone.
There you go. Well, I like T-bone. So
well, T-bone's good though.
Okay.
Man. Best steak you've ever had in your life. Where? Best steak you've ever had in your life.
Best steak I had in my life. Best steak I ever had in my life was either in Italy, in Florence, Italy, if it a real Fiorentina steak, or Mastro Steakhouse in Beverly Hills, California.
Oh.
Mastro
Wow.
Steakhouse. So.
All right, you ready?
All right, yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the Boom Boom Room, our first guest of the show, and here he is, Ed O'Neill. Eddie.
Hey.
Hey, there you are. You can hear us okay?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. I'm doing good. I'm here, Eddie. I'm here in Youngstown. This is August. August. April. What is it? The 16th, 17th. What is this? What's it?
It's the 19th, right?
The 19th. Yeah, one of those days. Eddie, April 19th, and snow flurries all morning. Snow flurries.
Yeah, I always say Youngstown will break your heart in the spring.
Yeah,
Because talking about March, you get some nice days, where you actually go out and take your shirt off in March.
Right.
And then late April, you get a blizzard.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when you go on your knees and start crying,
Oh, it's
But it's almost done, Ray.
Oh, that's what they say. They say another week probably. That's about it.
Yeah, once you get into May, you're good,
Yeah, Eddie.
And of course, it snows again in July, so.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Look, the weather's so bad anywhere in the country. It's all screwed up now. But they had a tornado. They had a tornado in California, Southern California.
Really?
A month ago, or a couple weeks ago.
Well, I don't know. We probably did. It's
It was
a
on
big
TV.
state.
Yeah, it was on in the news. I couldn't believe it.
No,
But
it wasn't here, but
yeah.
Well, I heard
Yeah,
something.
probably was.
Just real quick, guys. I heard something as far as the snow in April. Somebody said that amused me the other day. You guys might get a kick out of this. Was that I don't care if Caitlyn Jenner wants to identify as a woman. However, April identifying as January, we've got a problem.
That's hey, there you go. That's a funny line. That's a funny line.
But Ray, that seems to be. I can remember, that was not all that unusual in Youngstown. That it would snow in April.
Right. Well, I remember.
I can remember it. Like, when is it going to stop?
I remember. One thing. I remember when how many years ago? 1987, when Ray Leonard fought Marvin Hagler. It was April 6th. A buddy of mine was coming out to Vegas to meet me, and they got snowed in. And he was supposed to come in on the 5th, and he got snowed in. He said he couldn't leave.
Yeah.
I said, you got it on April 5th, but here we are getting snow here, and it's the 19th. So, yeah, figures that.
And now the sun's out, and it's going to be 60 tomorrow.
Yeah. Eddie.
See, I used to say when Youngstown near the end of winter, when the snow had been on the ground a long time, it looked like it was like living in a black and white movie.
Yeah, that's true.
There was no color.
No, you're right. That's true.
It was all gray and white and brown and,
Right. Oh, jeez.
And cold.
And cold. And it's cold today. Real cold. But Eddie, let me ask you. So now you just signed for 2 more years for the show?
Well, no. We signed for 2 years last year.
Last year, okay. So you just finished the
So
first
we
of that
finished our 9th season, and now we have one more contracted,
for the
which
10th.
will be 10. And then I said, I guess they tell me it's open-ended, and we'll see.
Right.
It'll either get canceled or we'll go another year after 10. But I have no idea which way it'll go.
No, Eddie, people, of course, those who know you, but I mean, those who don't say, hey, how close to Ed O'Neill's character is he? I said, well, that's pretty close. Jay, you're pretty close to Jay.
I guess. I never think about it. It's like, I guess I've never really, you never know who you are anyway.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, of course you don't.
Like, who the hell are you? You can change from day to day,
That's
depending
true.
on who
That's
you're
true.
talking to or
That's true.
what's
true.
going on. And so it's that
But
stuff about, I love when I hear people say, you'll often hear this, like somebody does something rash, or violent, or I don't know, it can even be something emotional, and they'll say, hey, that wasn't me.
No, who was
That's
it?
not me. And I'll say, well, who the hell was it then?
Yeah, who was it? Right, exactly.
If it wasn't you, who was it? It is you.
Yeah, or say, that's you. Or that's you now. That's who I am now.
Right
Right.
this minute.
I mean, it's you,
Yeah, of course.
I don't usually rob a bank. That ain't me, Well, you robbed it,
Oh, but but the show, everyone's doing good. I mean, your co-star, she made a career out of this, for the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
She's she's on every
Yeah, she's
commercial,
doing great. I mean, she makes, she does all those,
commercials and stuff.
she never stops working.
Yeah.
She never stops. She does the commercials, and
Yeah,
she's got product lines, and, she's, doing very well.
yeah. And before I forget, well, Vike, first of all, you want to ask him about Dutch. You want to?
Oh yeah. Ed, listen, and I've never seen the movie, so I can't vouch for it. But when my wife heard we were going to be talking to you today, she absolutely loves the film Dutch. Can you tell us a little bit about that film?
Some people really, really love that movie.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, I was not a huge fan of it, even after I did it, and especially while I was doing it.
Oh, is that right?
But looking back on it, it was a pretty good movie. It was written and produced by John Hughes.
Right.
Oh, okay.
The Breakfast Club,
my
and
wife's a big John
He
Hughes
had a
fan. I'm
string
sorry,
of
go ahead.
trains, planes, and automobiles. And
Right.
this movie was a little bit kind of at the end of his career as a top movie writer,
Right.
And so there was a lot of stuff that he kind of rehashed. But he was from Chicago. He was an interesting guy. He started out in advertising,
Really?
and he made a lot of money in the movies, writing those teenage angst movies,
Right, exactly.
But we shot it. It was a road movie. We shot it. We started out in Chicago,
Right.
and then we worked our way down, into the South and back on up.
Yeah.
Right. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work, but it was fun.
But
And I'll tell you a funny thing about that movie that a lot of people don't know if they saw the movie. The kid who played, the little kid,
Right.
was an actor named Ethan Embry.
Right.
Okay.
And he was 12. And years later, I got a call from Dick Wolf to do L.A. Dragnet because they had lost their guy, their Joe Friday,
Right.
and they needed a Joe Friday. They had to show up and running, but they didn't have the star of the show. And so I told him I would do it. I shouldn't have done it, but I told him I'd do it.
You shouldn't have done it, Ed.
I shouldn't have done it because it was too much work. I mean, it was 12, 14 hours every day,
Damn.
I don't want to do that, but anyway, I'm doing it. And I go in to meet my co-star because it was, Joe Friday and his partner.
Right.
So I'm introduced to this, nice-looking guy. He's sitting in the office. And they said, they introduced us. And I said, how you doing? And he says, you don't remember me. I said, not really. He was the kid in Dutch.
Oh.
Ethan Embry, he was your partner.
He was Ethan, but he had changed his last name.
Oh, is that right?
Some kind of family thing, he changed the last name, and I forget which. And by the way, he's a hell of a good actor
Yeah, he is.
and a nice guy. We had a great time, but I couldn't believe it. It was the same kid,
Wow.
but he was like 23 or 4.
Right.
And that's the thing is like the one thing my wife said she really enjoyed about that movie. She said that in the interaction between the two of you was spot on.
Yeah, and we had worked together before. See, so
Eddie,
that helped.
I tell people the story, but maybe you could reiterate this. I tell people, you got started in acting later in life. You weren't young kids when you started. You were, later, right? Late 20s.
Well, I started. I mean, I did some in high school.
You did theater. I know you did theater for a long time.
Yeah, just the high school.
Okay.
A couple things, and then I did after I got cut by Pittsburgh, I came back and I started doing. I did a couple things at the Youngstown Playhouse,
Right,
and
right,
then I started doing things at the university. You know, at Spotlight Theater,
right.
and I probably did, I don't know, 10 or 12 plays there, and I did some dinner theater, just bullshit around the area. And then finally I thought, well, you either quit doing this and get a real job, or you got to go to New York,
Right, right.
So I went to New York.
Now, the first job you got, correct me if I'm wrong, was Miami Vice, correct? Was that the first?
No. You mean the first paying job?
Yeah, was it TV? Was the first TV? Was that?
No, the first paying job I got was a Broadway play.
Okay, yeah, I know. Right.
And then the second job was a movie called Cruising with Al Pacino.
Right.
Whoa!
I
haven't seen
actually
that in
saw
years.
that in the theater. Me and my brother went with my brother to see that movie at the Uptown Theater. And
Well, I'll tell you a funny thing about that one.
Man,
That movie was, very controversial.
Yes, it was.
And it was based loosely on a true story about gay murders in Greenwich Village.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, I remember.
And I came back to Youngstown to visit my parents, and I was playing handball at the Y, and I ran into Dooney Samron. Remember Dooney?
Yeah, of course.
Chuck's older brother.
Right.
And I said, Dooney, how you doing? I was always close to him,
Yeah.
And he said, I'm good, kid. Hey, you know what? I got to tell you something. I took my wife to see that movie because you were in it, that Cruising. And I'm sitting in the theater, and I'm telling you now, when that guy bent down and licked that guy's can, I got up and left.
My father-in-law would have had a heart attack. My God.
Was he
I
there?
said, Dooney, I had nothing to do with it,
Was he there?
It wasn't your fault. Jesus Christ almighty.
But you remember the scene in the movie when the can, they're inside the club and the camera's panning by, and you see the guy getting fisted?
I was in there.
Oh, stop it.
I was
Now
in
I know
there.
why I've
during
never
that
watched
time.
that movie.
that scene, I came in, it was cop night. They had different themes, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
In the gay community. And this was cop night. Well, I was a cop, but I was a plainclothes cop, and I came in a suit,
Right.
And everybody was dressed like a cop, so right away I'm a cop, And I ordered I think I ordered a Lowenbrow. And it was actually going on. All that stuff was happening because that crazy, director Friedkin.
You can't direct that.
He told them all, just do what you normally do. That's an open bar, and we're gonna. They had a handheld camera, so they were going around. Whatever they shot, whatever they couldn't use, they edited.
Right. Oh God.
But it was tense.
Oh, it was. Oh God. Because I tell people, so you actually think they did that? I go, yeah, man. You can't stop, cut, take two. No, you get what you get. You go to a real club, you get it. Oh, I remember people wondering, is that real? Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, that was called the Anvil.
The Anvil.
That joint was called the Anvil.
Oh, you ain't
Oh,
lying.
that's perfect.
And you know what was funny about it, Ray? Because I didn't really understand. I didn't know anything about the gay community and the village and the.
Right.
And when they, I'd be outside between takes and, maybe strike up a conversation with a guy he looked like a Hell's Angel,
Right.
Had the motorcycle, had the Harley,
Macho guy.
big beard, tats, and he was gay, and he was a Wall Street guy. He was a stockbroker. It was really amazing.
But what I was getting at, the story I was getting to is like when you did Miami Vice, which was one of the first things you did. I tell people that story. I mean, it's funny because I tell people story. They go, "Oh, get out of here," especially for young actors. Now, let me set this up a little bit.
You mean how I got the thing?
Well, when you got the role, remember you told me you were on set, and they told you this scene. You go, "No, I ain't doing that." But Phil Michael, was it this thing when Phil Michael Thomas is supposed to come up?
Oh no, that was.
Was it
yeah,
Miami
right.
Vice, Miami Vice.
What happened, Ray? I was doing a play on Theater Row in Manhattan on 42nd Street
Right.
at a place called Playwrights Horizons. And to tell you how funny life can be, I wasn't, before I was doing the play, I was visiting a friend of mine, had an apartment down there, and I ran into this actor on the street that I always go up against for the same roles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was hurrying down the street, and I said, "Hey, where are you going?" "Oh, nowhere. No, I just, he was like,
And he want to tell
he
you.
want me to know,
he
you
want
know?
to- Right, right.
And I figured the son of a bitch is either coming from an audition or he's going to one. So I called my agent in a payphone because we didn't have,
Right.
we didn't have
right,
cell
right,
phones.
Right.
And I said, "Hey, what's going on down here around 42nd and 9th Avenue?" And they said, "Nothing." I said, "There's got to be something going on because I've seen this guy, he's scurrying around, They said, "Oh, there's a play across the street at Playwrights Horizons, and he's probably coming from there." I said, "Why? Well, how come I'm not going in there?" They said, "Well, we didn't think you were right for the role. You got to play 3 different parts, and it's a kind of experimental play." I said, "Hey, I'll do anything,
Right, right.
So they make the call, and I go across the street. I get the role. It wasn't the greatest play in the world,
Right.
but it was all right. I'm doing the play, and the casting director for Miami Vice, what the hell's her name? It was her and her sister.
What was it? Fern? No, was it Fern?
No,
Fern
she was a
Champion?
famous
No.
casting director. God damn it. And a friend of mine, too, and I
Sherry
can't think of her
Lansing?
name.
Sherry Lansing?
Huh?
Sherry Lansing?
No, not Sherry. Sherry was head of Paramount out in L.A.
And it was.
But anyway,
Okay.
no, maybe I'll think of it. But anyway, she came to the play, and she saw the play, and she thought that I might be right for the first episode of Miami Vice. They had shot the pilot. The pilot had aired, and they had the first episode coming up, down in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go in, and I auditioned for it. Bruce Willis was there, and a bunch of guys, trying to get the role. And I lucked out, so I get it. So I fly down to Miami, and, I'm working with Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wasn't that his name?
Yeah.
Well, I'm playing a rogue cop. It was based on an old theme. I had gone undercover, almost like a Donnie Brasco,
Right.
and it was a pornography ring. And I'm married, I got kids, but now I'm undercover, and I'm like this gangster, and I got a girlfriend, and I got money, but I'm losing my mind because I'm attracted to this world,
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a guy that owed me money, and I go out. We're at a club with all the bad guys. I'm with the club with all the bad guys, and then I said, "Wait a minute, I got to talk to a guy." And I go out in the parking lot, and the guy is out there, and he's got the money, but he's short.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Is that okay? I can bring you the rest of next week." I said, "Yeah, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Just here, give me." And then I beat the shit out of him in the parking lot, right?
Right.
And as I'm beating him up, Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas come out, and their job is to stop me,
Right.
and it's to stop me from killing the guy because I'm a cop.
Right. Right.
So when in the shooting of it, Don Johnson tries to pull me off, and I think I shoved him away,
Right.
and I said, "Don't you ever put your hands on me," and it showed a kind of like a maniacal kind of thing,
Right.
And so it was a real good take. It worked fine. And the director was a guy named John Moxey. He was an English guy. And I saw him confabbing with Don and Philip, after that. And he came back over and he was kind of chuckling. He said, "Don didn't like that. That was kind of," he said that he wouldn't have taken that if it was in real life. And I said, "You go tell him, yeah, he would have." And they kept it. And I think that's probably the only scene because Miami Vice was a very successful show.
Right.
That was the only time a thing like that ever happened.
Did you tell me that he said, "Well, they come over to us," and you go, "No. I'd beat his ass, and he'd like it."
Yeah. He came over and said, "We're just saying, I wouldn't take that." I said, "No, you'd take it. You'd take it from me, and you'd like it." And because I didn't want them I didn't want to do it differently, because it was the right way to go. Because listen, and I explained this to Don. By the way, I get along great with Don.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure.
And I said, Don, I commit suicide at the end of this goddamn show. You got to show that I'm losing my fucking mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they finally agreed, and so there was no problem. But it was it was a little dicey for a while there,
Yeah.
Because Don has a pretty good, healthy ego,
Oh, I'm sure of it.
Really?
That's his show, man. That's his show, of course. And they
Absolutely, and he had to look out for himself. I understood it.
No, of course. And they got a guy beating, they got one beating somebody else's ass. They ain't gonna beat their ass.
Yeah. And
get
but it
that. I
worked.
get that.
If you ever see the show, they rerun it sometimes. It's pretty good.
Yeah, good. I'll have to look forward to it. I didn't watch it. I wasn't a big fan of the show. I didn't, not that.
Yeah.
I just didn't watch it a lot.
Honestly, I would watch that in rerun, but
I don't know why you didn't watch it, Ray. You dressed just like those guys.
Oh!
Yes, I used to wear a lot of pink and fuchsia. I did wear pink and fuchsia with the red shoes and red white.
Well, you were
shirt.
confident in your masculinity. You could wear those kinds of,
Shit. Hey, Eddie, change speeds.
chartreuse and.
Yeah, chartreuse. Eddie,
Chartreuse.
change speed a little bit. Two things. First of all, you heard about the great Bruno Sammartino passing away.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
he lived in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah, I was a Pittsburgh guy. I never got a chance to meet him, but I got a chance to speak to him on the phone. One time he was on the phone. Somebody, I forgot who was, called him and put me on the phone with him. And he just was a wonderful, wonderful guy.
Oh yeah, I heard everything I hear about him was great.
He was just, very lovely to me. Very, complimentary to me.
Boy, he was a big son of a bitch,
man.
wasn't he?
Oh yeah, man. It was the first super. You remember first, and when I was a young kid, Channel 8, coming from Pittsburgh, they had showed it up here.
Or
on
Channel
Friday-
11.
Channel 11. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right. Late on a Friday or Saturday night.
Right.
And it was Bruno versus George Animal Steel.
All the time. Or Batman.
Yeah. Where'd you go? Or Iron Sheik. Or Iron Sheik.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know who my father loved? My father loved Vern Gagne. Remember Vern Gagne?
I don't remember him.
Do not know that guy.
You don't remember him. He was like, he had come from the actual real wrestling world. He was an actual wrestler. Mm-hmm. And of course, he was at that time where they started to make it entertainment,
Right.
But he had come from what they called catch wrestling, which was the real, with like George Hackenschmidt and those guys. It was the real thing. Like Hulk Hogan can't wrestle.
Right, no.
No.
He can't wrestle. He doesn't know how to wrestle.
He beat the hell out of Stallone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, did the drop.
Hey, Stallone doesn't know how to wrestle either. But see, when it first started out, all those guys were real wrestlers,
Right, exactly.
And then as it became more and more, it became less important.
Entertainment.
Then they could get guys that were just huge and they wanted a certain look.
Eddie, and our friend Arnold just had a heart surgery. And
oh, did he?
And it was a week ago, a couple weeks ago, and he opened, But yeah, he had heart surgery, and I told you the line I heard a guy say after, he said the fact that they actually found a heart. It's more amazing, more amazing. Arnold, I loved Arnold. It was always good with me. Hey,
yeah.
Eddie, now what do you think about this Triple G Canelo fight being canceled and the contaminated meat? Contaminated meat, except that his trainer and manager are butchers by trade.
Yeah, right.
I mean, come on, man. So what
Ray, when I saw the first fight, I saw the weigh-in.
Right.
When I saw Canelo get on the scale, I said he's doing something.
Yeah.
His whole body changed.
Yeah.
All you got to do is look.
Right.
Whole body changed
and he
quicker
was,
than Caitlyn Jenner.
he had that look, that steroid look, where he was cut. He didn't look like a Mexican.
No. It didn't look like, no, I know what you're saying.
And, I'll tell you something else about him. His whole demeanor has changed.
He used to be a good, nice guy.
When he first started out, he was a polite, humble kid,
Yes.
Now he's arrogant, he's short-tempered.
It's funny you said that.
Have you noticed that?
Eddie, I said that.
Good
Funny
point.
you said that because I've said that to people. I said the guy I was a fan of the guy, and he was
I was a huge fan of his.
And it was complimentary to people, very nice. I met him in
Yeah.
the gym one time.
He
But
completely changed.
He's becoming just what you said. He's the old saying, he's reading his own press clippings. And it's like,
I don't know what's going on with him, but he's changed.
you know, and he didn't win
And
the,
you know, he
didn't win the
never
first-
apologized to Triple G. I mean, listen, it's his fault. It's not Triple
Sure.
G's fault.
No. And
Not only that, he lost the first
he
fight.
lost the first fight. Of course he did. The fact that Adelaide Bird, 10-2. Adelaide Bird, come on, man. She 10-2. She, you know, look, we know she's been doing business for a long time. We know that. She's been,
Yeah.
but the
Well,
fact
she's with Golden Boy.
right, but you know, Eddie, there's where you blame. Tom Loeffler is a wonderful manager and promoter, and Ronnie DiNicola, they do a great job with Triple G, but they dropped the ball on that one when they allowed her to become one of the judges.
Oh, that they never should have let her come
And
in.
I think their viewpoint was, that's okay, because we ain't gonna need it anyway. We ain't gonna need it.
I
anyway.
mean, Ray, come on. What fight did she watch? I mean, really? I mean, she should never be allowed in the ring.
Judge
She should
again.
never be allowed to do it again.
Judge again.
Not even amateurs.
No, Adelaide Bird was so. What'd she vote? 10-2.
Hey, an amateur
10-2.
fight's harder to judge.
Yeah, she voted 10-2 for Canelo.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but
So now you got a 6-month suspension.
right, which a slap on the
So
wrist.
you know they'll make that fight.
Yeah.
I still think Triple G knocks him out the second time.
No. Oh, Triple G, yes.
You don't
I'm
think?
sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
My
I think
bad.
he knocks
My
him
bad.
out.
I mean, I said no because a lot of people say, oh, Canelo beat him next. Canelo will knock him out. I said, what are you? Get out of here with that stupid
The
stuff.
only reason he lasted is he ran.
He ran.
And he's not going to run next time because he's become such this, you know, oh, I got to fight like a Mexican.
Right.
That'll get him face down.
Eddie, you know, I said to people, Triple G, the reason that he didn't look as good as people thought, oh, he got old, he's getting old. He's a gym rat. And you understand about guys
Yeah.
being in the gym. To me, he looks stale. It looked like even when even when he ain't got to fight, he's always in the gym. And Abel Sanchez, who's a terrific trainer, I thought, well, how come Abel ain't tell him to stay out of the gym for a while? Griffey used to tell me, don't go to the gym, man, till a week before, then get a little gas in the tank. Don't be coming in. I want you to just have a little bit so we get peak at the right time. He looks stale because it looked like he's been in the gym so long, he left a lot of it in the gym. You know, so
Yeah, and you know, he never had a real big fight like that. I mean, not like, you know,
right,
Canelo had Mayweather and he had bigger,
That's true.
higher profile fights. I think he was probably a little bit, you know, taken
Tense.
in by the event itself.
Could be,
Because
sure.
he didn't go to the body like he normally does.
No, he didn't. And you know,
And he had plenty of chance.
yeah. He
So,
walked him. He walked him
think-
down. He walked him
I
down.
think, yeah. I mean, first of all, he's a natural middleweight.
Right.
I love his body. He's got a great body for a middleweight fighter.
Right.
And he's smooth. And by the way, he never took a beating. He hasn't taken any bad beatings.
No. And even though Canelo hit him with some good shots, he just shook it off. Kept coming forward.
He's got a good chin.
Yeah, he's got a great shit, man. He's gonna be.
Yeah, so does Canelo.
Yeah, he does.
Canelo's
He
a
does.
tough kid.
No, but the rematch, I truly think Triple G takes him out. You're right. I agree. I think he takes him out and gives him a bad beating because I think he could get better. I don't think Canelo could get any better in that fight.
No, I don't think so either.
And hey, have you talked?
And here's the other thing: Canelo tires.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That was the first
He
time.
gasses out, and he can only fight in spurts.
He fights in spurts. You don't fight continue. That's exactly right.
Yeah, right.
That's what she said.
Hey, how about our boy Mark Kriegel? How about our man Mark Kriegel? He's doing commentary now. God bless him. And
Oh yeah,
But-
he had a little bit of a bumpy ride that first night out with Atlas.
oh man, I told you, I emailed him or texted him. I'm sorry, and I'm sure he told you. I said the best thing you did for boxing, and the best thing you could ever do for boxing, is getting Teddy Atlas thrown off the air, putting him on.
You know what I told him? I called him the next day after that, and I said, listen, here's what you got to do. Whoever's in charge at ESPN there for you, who's your boss, call him right now. Because I know Atlas already has.
Right.
And you got to tell him, I can't work with this guy.
Right.
Because
Atlas did.
you know,
right.
they've hired you for a reason. You've got to, they wanted him. They paid him a good buck. And they set Atlas down.
They had to.
But
because-
Ray,
they had
he's
to.
lost his mind.
No, I can't stand listening to him. He absolutely has. And they must have worked a deal because I heard him on a fight the other night on ESPN. And he was going off. It was just him and another guy. They don't have three. It was just him and the other guy. I don't know if it was Tessitore or not. But I can't listen to Teddy at all, man. He was a good trainer. Not a great trainer, but a good trainer. But he thinks he thinks he knows it all. But when he starts screaming into the mic, screaming and he starts doing the thing. It worked at one time with Michael Moore when he was training Michael Moore against George. Who was that? Who was he training Michael Moore against? And he sat down.
Michael Moore. Well, he had Michael Moore for a while. Was it against Foreman?
Remember, he sat down. No, it wasn't the Foreman, but he sat down in the corner. He said, "Well, since you're not doing anything, I'm not going to do anything." And then Moore went out and knocked the guy out. Okay, I get it. So he became and then with Tim Bradley,
here's the thing, Ray. He was like a cheerleader.
That's what I'm saying, Eddie. Tim Bradley. Remember, we are firemen. We are firemen. Oh, shut up, man.
You know what that's for? That's for the television audience.
That's for the camera, Eddie. Believe me, he's always looking for where the camera's at. So
it's not for the fighter.
No. So now
the fighter doesn't need to hear bullshit like that. You don't want to get the guy all emotionally nuts.
Then you got Mark Krieger.
You see all those old-time trainers, Ray.
Of course.
Ray Arcel, Eddie Futch.
Murphy Griffith.
Who's the one that I loved? That was Eddie. No.
You said Eddie Futch.
He was a hell of a fighter. He had
not Georgie Benton.
Whitaker.
Georgie Benton.
Georgie Benton. But you watch those guys in the corner, man. They were calm and cool. They gave the guy one or two little pieces of advice per round.
Right.
Because you can't remember all the shit to the other. If you do it for your mother, you do it for your girlfriend, your family. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He lost his mind, man. And that's just a good trainer. That's why Freddie Roach is the best trainer out there and has been for a long time because he talks.
Yeah.
He's a disciple of Eddie Futch.
Yeah.
And he talks to him.
Yeah. I mean, you see these guys, Robert Garcia and these guys. They're just talking calm,
They yell, scream.
I remember there's a great YouTube. You can get it on Georgie Benton. He's got Whitaker in the corner, and I don't know which fight it was, but it's between rounds. And he says to Whitaker, "What are you doing in there, P? What are you doing?" He says, "I'm boxing." He said, "You ain't boxing, baby. You running. You running. All this guy's doing is swinging at you. Now just stand in front of him, slip the shots, knock this guy out, and let's go home."
Yeah.
Simple.
It's it. Oh, it's funny.
He's just swinging at you.
But
to a guy like Georgie Benton, if you swung at him all day long, you're never going to hit him.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. That's what I was saying about this day with Mark. I mean, he's a writer, and he's good. He's a very good, knowledgeable about the fight game. But you need somebody to lead him into it. He's not there for color commentary. That's Tim Bradley. But you need somebody who can lead Tim into it also. So to me, when I watch it, I thought it's not good. Watching it, it's not good. There's no cohesiveness.
Well, you want a guy calling the round by round, right? You want the guy calling the color on the fight.
No, Joe Testore is the blow by blow. You need a color
guy.
guy.
Yeah, he's the blow by blow.
Color guy is Tim Bradley's supposed to be the color. Except I worked with Tim this first year. You remember? I worked with Tim. We did True TV, and they kept telling me, "Ray, lead him into it. Lead him into it." So Tim's the guy you have to lead into it. And let him shine, but you got to lead him into the discussion. Mark doesn't do that, but I'm not sure that's not Mark's job. Mark is just he's not a colored guy. I mean, in essence, he is, but he's a reporter and he talks like a reporter, which is great. Very knowledgeable. You could love to listen to Mark all day if you're talking about his book. But when I'm watching a fight, and you only got 30 seconds, and by the time he's finished what he's saying, we're already into the next thing, and he's missing what's going on. My point being is, Mark.
Well, Ray, it's changed. I don't know what his job is. I mean, I know
he does either.
He does those specials during the week. He does the interviews up in the.
He's great with
he
that.
goes
That's
up in
great.
the apple orchard with the fighter, wherever it is, the bean fields.
Right.
And he interviews them, and they're always poignant, and they're pretty good.
Very good.
It's their personal pieces.
That's his thing.
But when I watch those old. You YouTube those things out of the garden, Johnny Addy and those guys.
Right.
They're calling the fight.
Right.
They don't say too much.
No, they don't.
They let you watch the goddamn fight.
Yes.
And then they'll put little things. That's a good right hand. He hit with a right hand. He took that pretty well. Right. The guy's got a good hook. You see, he's working the hook. He's breaking the ring down. I mean, they'll say little things. But these guys today, they never shut up.
No, they don't.
It's like on and on and on. By the way, and not to blow steam up your ass, you always called a good fight.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you were good. You were good at that. You should do more of that, actually.
I'm trying. I want to, man. Somebody told me I should be calling, make a call you know.
Yeah, make a call to some of these guys. Say, hey, look, man, you know,
What else are you doing?
you need a blow-by-blow guy.
Well,
you know,
that's
these
the thing.
guys.
These guys, because I know they've had to hear it. It ain't good.
Here's the other thing, Ray. I watched these fights today. Half the punches that they say scored didn't score.
No.
You know, the guy takes it on his shoulder, he rolls off, hits him on the arm, slips it all together. Oh, good right hand. Oh, damn it, you missed.
Eddie, see, that's the thing they tell you. As a blow-by-blow guy, you don't want to say what the audience just saw. Oh, you got a good hit with a good right hand. They just saw that. Why did he throw the right hand? See how he's getting the setup. No, if
He's
the
trying
way
to
he's
get
going,
him in the
Right.
body,
he's trying to set him
wear
up.
him
He's trying to set him up
down.
for the right hand, left hook. And look,
Right. How was he
It's
able
the
to
science.
land the
It's the
punch?
science.
Right. You know, look at this guy.
You know,
look at this guy, how he moves his body.
But to do that, you have to know how he did it.
Right. And, you know,
And you know, guys like Lampley and these guys, they don't have a clue
No.
how they did it.
No.
And what you guys are talking about is exactly why I hate MMA, because there's no science or strategy. It's just two dopes beating the crap out of each other in a ring.
Well,
Well,
there's some science to it.
You're right and you're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay? Educate me.
You're right and you're wrong. First of all, I was the first one to say that none of them can box, none of them can take a punch,
Right.
none of them know how to throw a punch. Now that's changed a bit.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
Some of them are better at throwing punches, and some of them are, you know, there's a few guys that can slip and counter. By the way, Mayweather can never learn how to do that. But, you know, he can't slip and land.
No.
Did you ever see him do it?
No, he's slipping.
You know, Robinson and guys like that. You threw a punch at Robinson, and he slipped it, then he knocks you out.
Right. Counters you.
Mayweather never knocked anybody out like that.
No.
But anyway, the kicking in MMA takes it to a whole new level.
Ah,
You know,
I
if
thought of it that
McGregor
way.
fought Mayweather in the ring, you know how long it would go? Half a round.
Eddie, you
Good
know, you
point.
hear about they're talking about that. And I said, I'm laughing, thinking.
No, he'll never do it.
Never
He'll
in
never
a
do
million,
it.
in a
Listen.
million years. Not in a million years.
Wait, here's how the fight goes. Ding. McGregor comes out, leg kicks McGregor, or leg kicks Mayweather
And it's over.
just above the knee,
Right.
right behind the meat of the thigh.
Right.
Mayweather takes a step backwards,
It falls like
looks to his corner. McGregor steps in, kicks him again. He takes a knee, and he waves it off. He's
Right.
done.
Yeah.
Fight's over.
Yeah.
That's how the fight would end. He would quit.
It's
He would make
Those skinny little legs of his, he's never thrown a kick since he was 4 years old.
No, and he never taken a kick. He's never taken it. You know,
No, and he's got brittle hands,
Right.
and so in those little MMA mitts, well, what's he going to do? I mean, he wouldn't have a chance.
No, that's
he doesn't know how to
a good
fight
point.
from his
No.
from his
Never thought
back.
of it that way.
I mean, I guarantee you, and when those guys take you down,
it's over. That's it.
you're done.
It's
You're done.
Yeah.
You're going to sleep, or you're having your arm dislocated.
Remember when Randy Couture took out James Toney, took him down? It was like
It was like
rocking a baby.
fighting a child.
Yeah, he put.
It's like fighting a baby.
Yeah, that was it. He put him in.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Tony was wearing slippers.
He might have-
He had little slippers on. And when he was getting choked out, his little feet were twitching, you know.
Yeah.
He didn't even know where he was.
No.
It would be like, it's like cheating. Let me put it that way.
The only one was when Ray.
There's no boxer could last unless they get lucky. They'd have to get very lucky.
Well, you remember Eddie when Ray Mercer fought Silva, Tim Silva, was it Tim Silva?
Yes.
And he knocked him cold in like in the first 20 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yes.
And everyone said, "See, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
that
talking
was.
about."
By the way, Mercer was a tough guy.
Yeah.
Silver wasn't much, you know.
But he hit him with a right hand, and it was a see. That's not how boxing would beat MMA. And I tell people all the time, I said, "No, man, they're wonderful athletes." Here's what I tell people. I said, it's real simple. If I catch you, these MMA guys, I catch these guys on the chin, they'll fall like a sack of rice.
That's right.
If I miss and they get me, then there you go. That's their game. But except that's why.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to be so precise to tackle a guy.
No, you don't.
To hit a guy right on the button and knock him dead out, you've got to be very precise.
Or even if you hit him in the head.
And the odds are against you. If the guy's going to take you off at the ankles,
Yeah.
you know, you're going down.
That's right.
Once you go down, you're done.
That's it.
Unless you know how to fight on the ground.
That's it.
Or you have a lead pipe.
Eddie.
Or you have a Louisville Slugger.
Hey, Eddie, before we get that, let me go to my top 5 list. All right, I'm gonna do some
All
top
right.
5 lists. Okay, so this is my top 5 R&B singers for me.
Okay.
For me. So my top 5 are number 1, Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye. I got a chance to meet him about a year before he passed away up at the Front Row Theater in Cleveland. And man, he was just he was great, man. He was just great. Teddy Pendergrass, TP, Philadelphia's own. Teddy Pendergrass, number 2. For me, number 3, Luther Vandross. Number 4 is your guy that you always do, Love and Happiness, Al Green.
Al Green.
And number 5 for me, Ronnie Isley. And just,
Ronnie Isley, that's a pretty good list.
Just on the outside, just guys who just miss, of course, Jackie Wilson, Barry White, show you ride. Barry White, Smokey Robinson.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, Barry White wrote all those songs himself,
Yeah.
Right on, right on.
Right on.
Good love, your love, baby.
Sam Cooke, Otis
Now,
Redding.
Ray, here, now listen. What about Sam Cooke?
I just said on the outside. I just said guys on the
outside. On the outside?
No, guys, you just missed it. Jackie Wilson, Sam Cooke, Otis Redding, James Brown, Smokey, Barry White. That's what I said. Even Ray Charles. Man.
James Brown wasn't a soul singer. He wasn't a blues singer. He was a soul singer.
No. R&B.
Yeah.
R&B. Yeah. So that's my
R&B,
top.
yeah.
So I don't know if you agree.
I'll tell you who I thought should have been in there was Solomon Burke.
Solomon Burke, there you go.
That sounds familiar to me.
Solomon Burke, yeah, man.
Solomon Burke was one of the greats.
But I got his last tape. He was sitting down. He was about 900 pounds, right?
Yeah, and Teddy Pendergrass, he was good. I don't know. He wasn't Sam Cooke.
Nah, for me, as I said, that's why I spent.
I mean,
I clarified.
if you listen to "Change Is Gonna Come" by Sam Cooke, I mean that's some soul.
Yeah, but when you have
Sam Cooke was. Ask any of those guys.
No, of course.
Their number 1 guy was Sam Cooke.
And they were Sam Cooke.
And that was Al Green included.
Hey, was it? It was a trickle down. It was like 3 guys. Jackie Wilson wasn't. Otis Redding was like a protege of Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke was protege of Jackie Wilson, or is it some other way? Something like that.
Well,
Jackie Wilson was first, then Sam Cooke, right?
Jackie Wilson was before Otis Redding. Otis Redding's idol was Solomon Burke. Solomon Burke came before Otis Redding, and Otis Redding, copied his style from Solomon Burke.
But Eddie, Teddy Pendergrass says, "Turn out the lights." Man, he ain't getting much more.
Oh
baby.
no, he's
baby making
great.
music than that. Turn out the lights and light a candle. That's it. Or another love TKO, baby. Looks like another love TKO.
I don't know, Ray. You better cut
Hey,
it
listen,
out. You're making me frisky, buddy. You're
I'll
making
put
me
Jackie
frisky.
Wilson's Danny Boy up against any of them.
There you go.
And I'll put Jackie Wilson's Dogging Around
See that?
up against any of them.
Yeah, there you go.
Jackie Wilson was a tenor.
I didn't realize that.
He had a tenor voice. He had an operatic
Voice. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize he.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, I mean, this guy could hit notes that you couldn't even hear.
Now you're gonna like my next 5, the top 5 R&B bands, groups. Okay, so I know you're gonna have a lot. So, but here's my top 5. Number 1 for me was the Stylistics. You make me feel brand new is my favorite song of all time.
Yeah, but they weren't a band. They were a group.
Group. No, I'm not a band. A group. I mean a group.
I thought you meant a band.
Oh no, R&B groups. R&B groups.
All right, like the Eagles are a band.
Right. No.
Tower of Power is a band.
Right.
Earth, Wind, and Fire is a band.
No, the number 1 for me is the groups. Stylistics. Number 2, the Shy-Lights.
Well,
The Shy-Lights.
Shy-Lights are great.
3, the Delphonics. 4, the Isley Brothers. And 5, the Temps. But right outside of that.
How about the OJs?
Well,
Where
as
the
I
OJs
said,
go?
just missing the cut, or the four tops, the Spinners, the OJs, Sly and the Family Stone, and also Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. I love Harold Melvin. Oh yeah, just missing that. And Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire too. So these are just.
Oh yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
But I tell people all the time, you're a big fan, and I know you know R&B bands, and R&B singers as well as anybody. So.
Yeah, I mean, I follow the music. There's so many of them though. It's hard to even with the groups.
Yeah. Eddie, who's your favorite bands from Youngstown? You've talked through the years about them.
That's a good question because I'd probably have to say the Jaggers.
The Jaggers, yeah. There you go.
We should get Donnie
And they
on.
weren't from Youngstown, but they were from,
Newcastle. Donnie was from Newcastle. Is that
no, we're right outside of Newcastle. That was a little, what's the name of that little town?
Sharon, PA? Sharon?
No, it wasn't Sharon.
Cranberry.
Oh,
But
they were
it's
from,
close
it was
enough.
Donnie Iris. You know, Donnie Iris
right.
was from this little
Right. Well, he's from
that
Newcastle.
place.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we're
it was right
outside of
across
Newcastle,
the
but Donnie's a
line,
great
you know,
guy.
PA.
The
And they had Puggy, you know, Puggy. But they had their lead singer. Well, they could all sing, by the way, every one of them.
Right.
But the other kid, he died recently. What a tremendous singer! I mean, they were actually signed with a Motown. They had a label, you know.
No kid. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, and they covered the OJ's one or two of the OJ's songs, and you can YouTube them. What's the one? And this kid is the lead, does the lead on that one song, that one OJ song. Oh,
Was
damn.
that was a group Billy.
Lonely. Damn it! It'll come to me. But
That was
it's
a group,
great.
Eddie, that was a group Billy Bodine. That was a group Bill Bodine was in.
Billy, yeah, Billy what?
Billy Bodine.
No, not Bill Bodine. I mean, I'm talking about Billy wasn't in the Jaggers.
He wasn't? I thought Bill Bodine was in the Jaguars.
Billy Aubrey. Billy Aubrey, I think his name was, and he
Joe,
covered
Google that.
the OJ's, and you know, I mean, it's right up there with the OJ's. I mean, that recording.
But so, I mean, you've been through the years. Like, remember, how about the Edsels? Remember Edsels? The Edsels, you like
Oh,
that?
yeah.
The Edsels were familiar, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what else? Remember when I used to go to the Elms Ballroom? There was a joint on Elm Street, down by Ursula, really.
Right.
It was called the Elms Ballroom,
Right.
and there was a kid that sang in there, who ended up in a band called the Human Beings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Remember that? And they did that. No.
Yeah.
Remember that tune?
Yeah. The Human Beings.
Well, he started out in a different group, you know. But when I was like 16, he had a band playing in there, and the kid was great, you know.
who's,
I forget his name.
Human Beings was. Who was that guitar player? Well, he didn't play for the Human Beings. He played for Glass Harp.
Oh, Phil Keggy.
Oh, that's Phil Keggy.
Yeah, he was at a scene, but I mean, I'm trying
Phil
to.
Keggy.
Yeah.
There was a great tenor sax player too named Billy Lawrence that played with a number of groups, and he was one of the great sax players, and unfortunately got ill in his 20s and got some form of schizophrenia or something,
Ah, Jesus, man.
and it cut his career short. But boy, that kid could play, man. That
Hey,
kid.
Ray,
To
on
this
this
day,
subject, you mind if I
maybe
throw
the
one
best
past
sax
Ed?
player I ever heard.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Can I throw a band by you?
Sure.
Puba.
Remember Poopa?
I don't remember that group.
Yeah, that's his name. I know.
I might have been
Jimmy
gone by
Gustafson.
then.
Jim Gustafson. I don't know if you know them. Jim Gustafson.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Were they from Youngstown?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
from Youngstown. Oh, yeah.
And they're still playing, man, and they've been at it for like, well, good Lord, it's got to be pushing 50 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Who's their lead singer?
Jim Gustafson, he's a guitar player, singer.
Oh.
If
you know,
heard
remember
the
Oni
tracks,
Crook?
you'd go, oh, that guy. Anyway.
Wait. Oh, who's that? Oni Crook?
Remember Oni Crook? Remember the Crook brothers from the East Side?
No, I don't.
Oni Crook. Oni Crook was a good rhythm and blues singer.
I'm going to look
You know, I
that up.
love Carl
I'm
Severino.
just gonna say, other than who sings better than Carl?
Carl was my
Severino?
man. I mean, Carl sounded like Al Green.
Yeah, that's what you said. You always said that. When he was lead
I
singer,
mean, Carl could sing his ass off.
he was the what? What was the group? He was the lead singer of the High Guys.
Well, he was in the High Guys. He was in the High Guys with Billy, what's his name, the organ player. Jeez, I forget these guys. But Carl, you know, Carl grew up on the East Side.
Right.
Listen, Carl was singing a cappella. I'll never forget the first time I ever heard Carl sing. We were playing baseball at Victory Field on the East Side.
Sure.
We were Little League.
Yeah.
I was 12.
You were never 12.
And Carl was playing second base. Carl was my age.
Right.
And I was playing against his team. I was a local 1462. You know, these were the names of these teams.
Sheet two, I
Gentile
think.
Construction.
Right.
And Carl was on some team, and he was singing a cappella, you know, standing there on second base. And I was on second base because I got a hit, and I'm listening to this kid sing a cappella. And I said, damn, he sounds just like the record. Now, we were 12.
Right.
And I think the song was Stranded in the Jungle by the Cadets.
That's right.
It was a popular song at the time. And Carl could sing, man. He was singing like that when he was, 10.
Yeah. Wow. You always said he was the best singer to come out of here. Well, if not,
Oh,
one
man.
of the best, if not the best. You said he always said that.
Oh, I think that if Carl's problem was he could never get out of Youngstown.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
He just couldn't leave Youngstown, but Carl had all the ability. And by the way, when he was in the High Guys, that group came very close to, signing and really getting some big breaks. They were close.
Yeah.
But, for whatever reason, it didn't happen. But boy, he could sing. I used to go to jam sessions at the Tropics on Market Street.
Sure.
That's still
And
open.
they'd start around 1 o'clock in the morning or, 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Didn't
And all the guys from every group in Youngstown would show up and drift in, and they'd all jam.
How cool.
And I'll tell you, some of those nights were some of the best music I ever heard.
who was that? Who owned the Tropics? Was the Lou?
Lou Tiberio, I think.
Well, he had the mansion too. He had the mansion.
I know he had the mansion, but I think he had a
Tropics.
piece of the Tropics.
Yeah, he did.
You know how those guys are. There was always a piece
Is
of
the building
something.
still there?
Yeah, pardon?
The Tropics building, is it still there?
I think the Tropics building's still there. It's just.
Spectacular.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
it's still- Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, but I used to love. I went to the Holiday Bowl.
Oh yeah.
I'd go to the grist mill on the west
Rip Room.
side.
Yeah.
I'd go to the, there was always places where music was happening.
You used to go to stop at the apartment down there in Midlothian?
Sure.
Yeah, the apartment was.
Yeah, and that other place, the Limelighter.
Limelighter, yeah. Well, that was Nicky's joint.
Remember, they used to have that kid from Detroit. Bob Seger played there, and
Bob Seger, but at the time,
who was the kid from Detroit? The
Bob Seger played when he played. He's from Detroit. Bob Seger's from Detroit. He played at the apartment, but at that time it was the Bob Seger system.
Ah!
it was the Bob Seger
looking at,
system,
right?
and then they had the other kid too, the Detroit Wheels,
Not Teddy.
the lead
Nugent.
singer.
Oh, that,
Mitch something,
yeah,
Mitch Ryder.
Mitch Ryder, there you
Right.
go.
Mitch Ryder used to come and sing, and then we would go to the black clubs, the Casablanca on Hillman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we used to go in there, and then we'd sometimes go up to Cleveland, Leo's Casino on Euclid, and we'd listen to Jackie Wilson, the Miracles, on any given night. The Four Tops. The Four Tops was the greatest live show band I ever saw.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, the Four Tops were phenomenal. And that lead singer, man, Levi Stubbs.
Levi Stubbs. That's right. That's right.
And the Casablanca, they had great musicians coming through there all the time because, that was what they used to call the chicken wing circuit.
Chitlin
It was all these great black artists that really didn't have opportunities, in the other places.
Couldn't break through.
They couldn't break through, so they'd go there and they'd play for probably very little money, but man, you'd hear some great music.
Yeah, man.
And we'd go in, it was all black, but we never had a problem. We were young guys, but I think they enjoyed that we liked the music,
Eddie, I don't know if you remember this. I just got a text. My cousin texted me. My uncle used to be in a band. They had one hit, and they were on the American Bandstand with Dick Clark.
Really?
Yeah, they were. And
The more
actually,
you know.
I see it. It was called the Green Mosquito, and it was called the Tune Rockers. The Tune Rockers. You ever heard of the Tune Rockers?
I kind of remember the name, but I don't remember that
Oh, the
song.
Tune Rockers. Yeah, look it up. If you Google the Tune Rockers, Green Mosquito. Oh, here's it sounds like a
Oh
bee.
my God!
Yeah, but
Well, Ray, then we used to go up in the summertime. It was Geneva, on the lake,
right?
The Hillbilly
and we'd go to
Riviera.
the Sunken Bar, and right across the street was the Cove.
Okay.
The Jaggers played up there a lot. Ross Locke, he had a band.
Right.
They
Your
used to
guy
play
Ross.
there.
Your guy Ross. How's he doing?
There were always bands coming in and out of there, and the Holiday Bowl, had great
Sure,
groups.
sure.
They would come in from out of town.
The Rip Room was a happening place. I mean, that
Oh, man.
they all came from there. I think
Now that was Carabia. Carabia Orly Carabia ran that place with a guy named Dick Daly
Was that right?
for a long time. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I went to high school with Orly's nephew.
Yeah. Jeez.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, you know there was a great music scene in Youngstown, wasn't there?
It really was at that time.
Oh yeah, I
the-
just love the music.
Yeah, but when I was growing up, and I was in high school, and I used to bounce, you know, and I was 17 years old, and they were allowing me to go into the beachcomber. Because they knew I wasn't going to
Oh, yeah.
drink. All I wanted to do was dance and meet girls. So that was, I mean, they
No
were,
big deal.
and all the guys, they knew I wasn't going to drink.
Well,
so
you know,
they-
Ray, that was a rare thing
Oh, yeah. The beachcomber
to
was real
dance
deal.
and meet girls.
Oh, yeah. The beachcomber was happening.
I'm kidding, Ray.
I know you are, Eddie.
Everybody that went there was going to dance and meet girls.
But they weren't 17. That's my point.
Oh,
I was 17 when I was going there.
Well, most of them were
that?
15.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know everybody started to be girls. But I was 17, they let me go in, you know, because they got to say, you know, because I wasn't going to drink. They knew that. Then we'd go bounce across the street.
You know what I used to remember? This just made me think. When I used to go to the Elms Ballroom, it was a little seedy, you know.
Yeah.
Little greasy.
And there was always about 2 or 3 girls that were, you know, I'm gonna guess they were 16,
Yeah.
pregnant, dancing with each other. You know, like a forest dance. They danced with each other, and they were like, you know, a month away from having the kids.
Jesus, oh, man.
What a sight.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But, anyhow, the theatrical across the street was a hell of a joint. And then, a little before my time, or no, even at that time, was the Viking Lounge. You used to bounce at the Viking, didn't you?
No.
Did
I
you?
used to go there.
That's what I'm saying.
I used to work at
but I
across
mean,
the street
Eddie,
and down the playpen.
Eddie, when I meant bounce, I didn't mean you were a bouncer. I meant you used to go there. That's what I mean. You used to bounce.
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
bad.
no, I used to go there all the time.
You're right, because I forgot. You were a bouncer at a few joints, right?
Well, I worked the door
At
at the
Lampo.
playpen.
Then you go at the
I
lamppost.
worked the door at the lamppost, which, you know, the lamppost, when the lamppost was the lamppost.
Right.
I mean, it's still there, but it's not, you know, it's
Right.
not anywhere like it
Yeah,
used to be.
the lamppost has been shut down for a number of years, and of course, its latest incarnation or last incarnation about 10 years ago, it was a club for strippers.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Yeah, it was less than that. It was better than that back in the day, I presume.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
It was owned by a guy named Paul Gaetano,
Okay.
Paul
PG
Oh, yeah.
Gaetano.
Didn't he have the airport
And
tavern?
I used to work for him. I bartended there, you know, and I knew the whole family.
Eddie, did he own the airport tavern, too, down on 422?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he
The
did.
guy
That's right.
Yeah.
And his wife's name was Lucy.
There you go.
And we had a lot of good. And my brother Sam Engard, who just died last week, you know,
Yeah.
he worked the lamppost with me and
Oh, did he? Hey, Sammy
John
Lynn.
Franken, and you know, we had quite a crew.
Yes. Eddie, my brother, I don't want to keep you here, man. We went on long past that. I thought I would keep you. I certainly appreciate you staying on with me, man. I appreciate
Ray,
it.
it's always a pleasure.
Hey, our pleasure, Eddie. See, this is
It's just like I'm sitting at Il Forno talking
right. That's
to you.
exactly
but
that's exactly what I feel. This is how long after we'd have lunch. We'd sit there and talk. We'd be sitting, and we close the joint. You know, we go have lunch at 1.
Yeah.
And then after 3, people, you know, we're still sitting there. And I miss you, man. I missed the hell out of you.
We'd sit there. It was almost time for dinner.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
We're just about on it. Hey, before we get going, Ed, I gotta ask you 2 things. First of all, will you crank
Sure.
call my wife if I send you her number?
What I what?
Crank call my wife.
What the?
No.
Oh, come on. I'll set it up for you, man. I want you to crank call my old lady because all
I
she
don't
does
crank
when
call
she's
people.
watching
You can
reruns.
go to jail for that.
No, it's okay. No, man, I'm telling you,
No.
all she
Okay,
does is watch reruns of Modern Family. It's driving me nuts.
But
Yeah, well.
hey, but
Yeah.
no, Eddie, I
Well,
don't.
what's the second thing you wanted to ask me?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you if you would take a challenge to a 3-game bowling set.
A 3-game what?
Bowling.
You mean actual
He was
bowling?
talking about seeing the rock bands in the bowling alleys earlier, and I just happen to have a friend that has a bowling alley that's a rock venue, so I want to bowl against the guy. 3-game set.
Well, you'd be taking advantage of me. I can't bowl for shit.
Well, neither can I, brother, so we're even. I'm just teasing you, dude. I'm just teasing.
If I go to a bowling alley, I just sit and eat nachos, you know.
Oh man, Eddie, who's been seen at the joint?
Raymond,
Who's been at the joint? Anybody? You see anybody? You see? How about our friend Bill from you know, the Bill,
No, he's back in Saratoga Springs.
Oh, is he? Okay. What was the
And
show?
he's miserable. You know how he is. He wants to be out here, but he's back there. He's got a beautiful place, apparently.
Yeah, yeah.
He's always saying, come and visit me. I said, what are we going to do? Sit in your living room and look at your dogs? But, you know who I had lunch with last week was Dave Mamet, your boy Dave Mamet.
How's Dave doing? How's he doing?
He's doing good.
Has he got anything new coming up?
Yeah, he's got a book out right now. It's a novel in paperback called Chicago. And it's gotten rave reviews. You got to check it out.
Fictional story? Fiction?
Al Capone.
Oh,
yeah, it's fiction, but boy, it's good.
Okay, good. I'm glad you told me. I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up.
And I've got a movie on Netflix right now.
Oh, yeah? Which one?
Yeah, it's called Sun Dogs.
Sun Dogs.
And it's me and Allison Janney and Melissa Benoist. You know Melissa Benoist, Supergirl?
No, I'm not familiar.
She's got a series where she plays Supergirl.
Oh, I've seen her.
Yeah, and she's really good. And then there's a young actor, an Italian American. His name's Michael Agarano. He's from Staten Island. Wonderful guy. Good actor.
How old is he, because I think I know who you're talking about. Young
Michael
kid?
is about, I'm going to say he's 25, 26.
Okay, yeah, Brown Leonardo's age then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's called Sun Dogs. It's on Netflix. Check it out. It's a little, independent, but it's
Yeah,
good.
good. I'll look forward to it. What's it about? What's it about? Real fast.
Well, it's a family thing where Michael was brain damaged in the hospital at birth. He looks normal, and it's almost like Being There, you know?
Okay.
The Peter Sellers movie. Remember that?
Sure. Yeah. 70s.
And
70s.
and so it's just.
Similar
It's
to
a sweet movie. I mean, it's hard to describe.
Okay.
You'll like it.
Okay, I'll look forward to it. Eddie, I can't
All right,
I
Ray.
can't
Now, what are you going to do now? You
well,
done?
now we're done. They're throwing me off. Joe's over looking at me like, come on, man, we're over. We're way over time.
Is he pointing to his watch and he's saying time is money?
He's over there tired. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, but hey,
Wrap it up. We can't do anything. We
But that's the
can't do any good now.
Eddie, I
All
can't.
right, Ray, go ahead.
All right,
Listen,
my
it's nice talking to you
Same here,
guys.
my brother. I can't thank you enough. Love you, man. Got nothing but love for you. I'll talk.
All right, Ray, you know how I feel.
I know. And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry we're going a little past what we wanted.
They don't
but,
mind.
I hope you don't mind. That's right. And anyhow, we're hoping to get more guests like Eddie on for the next show. Try to get somebody on. Be like Ed from all the sports, entertainment, music. We'll get somebody on. And we won't make it as long as that, because Eddie's the funniest guy to listen to. I love listening to Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the interviews won't be as long. So anyhow, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the show enough that you'll tune in again and come back for another round of the Boom Boom Room. Probably next Tuesday around the same time, 4 o'clock. If there's any change of the times or days, check us out on Facebook. We'll put up on Facebook but as of now, next Tuesday, same time, 4 o'clock.
Hey, Ray, before we go, can I give a quick shout out?
Please.
My friend Helen is listening in Kendal, UK.
Kendal.
So I've matched your Brit.
She's not in Birmingham. She's in Kent.
She's from Liverpool.
Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate that. And anybody, friends of mine from around the country, I've gotten all your text messages and emails, and you show a lot of love, and I appreciate that. Surely appreciate it. So thank you very much. Hopefully see you next Tuesday. God bless you. Good night.